All right, measures of variability. So be quiet. Video might go viral and you'll look like a fool.
Probably not.
Probably not, because it's math. But who remembers what range is of a set of data?
It's like
Biggest minus
Yeah. Right? Big minus small. So top minus bottom, whatever. Right? I do find it easier to use graph paper here. Because it makes it easier to draw, cleans it up. What do you remember about Boskin whisker plots?
I don't know about that. I
that,
know about
that little point at the very end.
I'm the boss, so shut up.
Hey, I was trying to explain
Yes, ma'am, go.
The little point on the far left side
Yep.
is the smallest number.
We call that the
Minimum.
minimum.
And the other one's the maximum. And the line in the middle is the median.
Anybody? So this is half, right, of the data. What would this be? A quarter, what's that called? Quartile 1. Okay, it's the middle of the lower half. And then this would be quartile 3, because this is quartile 2, right? 2 out of 4 is half. The quartile 3 is the middle of the upper. Okay, starting to refresh your memories a little bit. Interesting. All right. Give me some numbers. 7. Some, not one.
11. 12.
I'm just going to keep writing until we get a few.
19.
Okay, that's good. Be quiet. So put them in order first, right? You remember that? Put them in order. So 4. Oh, there is a 2. Seven, 8, 8. 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay. Okay, we're gonna have to check to see if that is an outlier. So it's really far up there, right? In the past, we haven't really calculated if it's an outlier, so I'm going to show you how to do that. So we're going to have to check on that one before we make our box and whisker plot. So here's our minimum, right? Our max. If that is an outlier, then this becomes our maximum. Okay, so if this is an outlier, we don't plot it in the box and whisker. We're going to get to that. It's a piece of data that's really far above the other set of data. I'll define what exactly it is. What's the median? You want to say it, or it is? Yeah. Now, what is the middle of the lower half? It's quartile 1. And upper? Quartile 3. Okay. We need to check to see if that's an outlier. Okay. We need the interquartile range. Anybody guess what that is? It's the range of the quartiles. So it's the box, right? It's the top minus bottom of the box. In our case, 5, right? Now take that times 1.5. If the number is 1.5 times beyond quartile 3 or before quartile 1, it's defined as an outlier. So we're actually calculating that. Right. So now we take quartile 3, which is 11.5 plus 7.5, and that is 19. Does that mean 34 is an outlier? Okay. And do quartile 1, 6.5 minus 7.5, -1. Are there any outliers here? Okay. All right, any questions on calculating outliers? It's just the process you have to follow. So it's interquartile range times 1.5. Add those and subtract those from the top and bottom of the quartiles. All right, so let's draw our box and whisker plot. What scale do you want? Alrighty then, I'll pick. All right. 34 is an outlier, so we put a dot. And then 19 becomes our max. So that's going to be right here. Eleven and a half, quartile 3, 8.5, quartile 2, 6.5. To our box, and then 2. There you go. You have your box and whisker plot. Any questions? And you've done this 100 times with me, so anything is the outlier calculation. So you learn that. All right, look at your calculator if you don't have one. We have a set of data, so we can enter that in our list if you remember how to do that. Yeah? Three years now. 3 stinking years. I failed you. No, you failed yourself. You don't?
No, I don't.
Did you already take it?
No. I have to
Test out of it?
I have to wait for like a year.
Well, that's a bad idea.
Because there's no room. Like you can't get in. There's way too many people on the waiting list.
I understand. I'm just telling you that's a bad idea. You're going to be hurting when you actually take it. All right. So we got our data in. Yes? No? Yeah? Okay. Go to stat. Calc. What's the next one? One variable stats. No. Okay, which one is it? Oh, that's genius. Yeah.
He's a real smart one.
You're a really smart feller.
Why didn't we do this before? I knew he was gonna do this.
You can do it. Oh, yeah. You're such a smart feller. I do it often. Oh. Yeah. By the way, there's your box and whisker plot data. You mentioned that already. Be careful on this. It won't give you an outlier calculation. That's the one thing you gotta be aware of, okay? But you have your standard deviation there. That's the letter sigma. Does anybody know what standard deviation means? We went over it last year, but. Okay, it's a measure of deviation from the mean. Okay, so it's going to tell you if you're one standard deviation from the mean, like 8 above or below, I think it's 66% of the data is in there. If you go 2 out, between 16 up or 16 down, 95% of the data is in there. And it keeps going from there. So it's a way to measure how tight your data is. Obviously ours is not very tight. Okay.
If I'm at the shooting range and I'm testing ammunition for velocity, and I get a really small standard deviation, that's good. That means they're all shooting pretty close to the same velocity. And that means that there's going to be less variability in where I hit the target. It's going to be more accurate. So I want it tighter, as close to zero as possible. It can't ever be zero, but as close to zero as possible. Okay. But if you get, if you get above a standard deviation of 30 or 40 when you're shooting like that, your rounds are not very good. So you want to go rework them. That's how I use it. Okay. It's just a way for me to measure how accurate my rifle's going to be. Any questions? Alrighty then. I'll set you loose. Seniors, please do something.
Wait. You have to see, does that mean we have to do it, or you just kind of want us to do it?
Zach, have I ever forced you to do anything?
Well, no, but we look at it.
No, it doesn't force you. It does not take your hand and make you write it.
Well, no.
You still have to make the choice.
Well, yes.
So you know, you make the choice. Now, can your parents take your car away?
Yeah.
Can they withhold your allowance? Yeah.
I don't have allowance.
Is that making you do it? No, you still have to choose.
I just look at it.
There's the work. You have 25 minutes today. You probably can finish it. Yeah, I don't give my kids an allowance either, so don't worry.
How do you find?
Okay, so there are some things. There are some vocab words. You might want to hear this. There's some vocab words in the book that I did not point out, like semi-interquartile range. If you don't recognize it, don't do it. Or mean deviation, don't do it. Don't worry about it. But do standard deviation, do interquartile range, etc. Okay?
Wow.